water,
earth,
air.
You're fired.
You're fired.
Long ago, 3 intellectuals raided the avatars. We are not them.
You've clicked
And these
the
are
right
not the
video.
avatars.
Welcome back to NoFocus, y'all. We are grading the characters, judging the characters, critiquing them, precisely rating them.
This is the only Avatar tier list you need to see.
Yeah, the
Because
only
it's-
one, and it's definitive. So if
It's
you have an
factual.
opinion, it's wrong.
Yep.
It's wrong.
Yep.
Welcome.
So we're going to get our avatar stayed on. If you see us glowing, maybe you should consult a physician. I don't know. That's a story for another time. But anyway,
Yeah, we're not a tier list channel, but we do have fun with these. We have a very big Avatar fan in our midst. She has a very large collection. So we're rating characters from goated, great. Goated is like the top tier, best written characters. These characters like define the series. Some of them are kind of lacking a little bit.
yeah.
So we put those in the lacking tier. They don't define the series. They're in maybe 1 or 2 episodes. They don't really say too much.
Yeah. They're just kind of there.
Yeah,
They're-
kind of mid. Recurring characters that have a plot point, but don't influence the story too much. Good enough characters that show up and influence the main characters, but have a decent impact, but aren't aren't too memorable. Great characters are characters that are actively influencing the story, whether or not they're in the background or in the scene. And then goated characters are characters that are so well written, you are going to talk about them. You're going to talk about their experiences, what they went through, how they developed as a character, and just stuff like that. So I guess to get right into it, since Aang was the first one, I think Aang is goated.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna start strong here,
Yeah,
right?
it's about him.
We don't
Right.
we don't really even need to explain. I mean,
Right.
the whole show is about him. He gets his crazy glow on. He has you see him go from a goofy little kid to the most broken just character in the entire show.
Yeah,
True.
we witness him become an adult in this
Literally.
series from the age of 10 to 11.
12 to 12 and 8 months.
Yeah. So he started this adventure. I mean, he's technically 110.
Yeah.
The longest living avatar, maybe.
Yeah.
No, Kyoshi.
Oh, okay. Well, spoilers.
Nah. I guess I'll put a little bit of. I have a lot of Avatar knowledge, so if you haven't, first of all, watch the show.
Yeah, watch the show. We will be discussing the show.
Yeah,
so if you haven't
spoilers.
watched the show, we are gonna be talking about the show in the
Whoa.
endgame.
I'll try to keep from comic book knowledge, podcast
Included,
knowledge.
because that's probably what people are here for. That's the
bet.
stuff that they won't know, right? I mean, how many people have watched the show, and then how many people have read the comics,
and the
but are interested in the
Books
series?
and the
So
podcast
if you
and
have something from the comics, I say let it out.
bet. Okay. Liddy.
But spoilers if you
But
plan on reading
spoilers.
those too. So.
Yeah. Here we go.
So yeah, Aang, goated.
Goated.
Appa,
Goated. Nah, Appa is the reason why they survive. Most of the missions they survive in the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
Appa saves them from being attacked in the Fire Nation from Zhang. Appa saves them from the drill. Appa saves them from the desert, getting into the desert. They're absolutely without any actual form of transportation without Appa when they lose him in the desert.
my argument isn't that Appa is a phenomenal character. My argument is that Appa doesn't go through a lot of. I mean, it's like kind of the pet, right? He doesn't go through a lot of character development.
He has an episode.
He has an episode.
That episode won an Emmy.
It did win an Emmy, but
I guess
Aang has the entire series.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Appa's also 112.
Yeah, but that's not why Aang is goated.
No.
Aang is goated because we witness him go from this weak little kid that wants to save the world to this strong, powerful being that does save the world. And Appa, I love him. He's a phenomenal character. He helps, but he
he's
doesn't
just
go
not-
through the same growth that Aang
Okay.
does.
Yeah,
in
he's
my
just
eyes.
not-
I
like-
respect it. No, okay. He's goated in my heart, but
in my
I will.
opinion, the respectful way to put it is he's an amazing, like, series long kind of side character.
He's a great
Okay.
supporting
He's
character.
not he's not part of like any character arc or anything like that.
Okay.
He does a lot for the series, but he doesn't do as much as Aang, and some of the other characters that
Fair.
I know we're going to put in GOATed.
That's fair. Okay.
So keep in mind, when we're making this tier list, there's not really there's not like an F on here. Like,
Yeah.
lacking is still, in our eyes, a good
It's like
character.
it's like the worst of the best, but the best is still like
the best is still, we're still
Up
talking
there.
about a great series.
Yeah. Of
Because
course.
now we're talking about
another
Azula.
another goated character.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would easily put her goated. Just
Yeah.
because, I mean, despite the fact that she doesn't even come in until season 2, like, she is, I mean, even though writers have described her as being more powerful than Zuko,
Yeah.
like, you can see the way she fights. I mean, her firebending is blue because it's way hotter. Just not to mention how much of just like a snake she is, just how she plays like mind tricks on everybody she's around. Like, she's kind of a fierce character. She's kind of a dangerous character. And
Can I make a controversial decision here?
Make your controversial decision. Yes.
do it.
I
Not even.
think,
Yeah.
I'm not even mad.
Okay, with the screen time that she's given, I think she is like a character study. She's not just a character. We are watching a character's descent into madness with
Yeah.
her, and
And
it's so well articulated and well written that it's hard to like. At the end of the series, if you truly understand Azula's character, you kind of feel bad for her.
Yeah.
And for
yeah.
a villain, that's phenomenal.
Yep, I was to say, for a
absolutely.
villain, one person that you're like, because I mean, at least through the second season and then part of the way through the third anyway, they write it so that you like want to hate her. But by the end, like, you just can't help but like be like, damn,
It's just
You're like-
sympathy,
she's so
yeah.
tragic.
She really is a victim of the circumstances.
She's
Yeah.
such a just tragic character.
Yeah. And I mean, look, Aang has that too. He does have a tragic backstory.
Yeah. Genocide
he-
does do that.
Yeah. But Azula is kind of like, she was indoctrinated into it.
Mhm.
She didn't really have a choice. She never had an out. And I mean, yes, she made decisions to continue being evil.
But it was more so, and they get into it in the comics too. It's more so to appease the more evil father.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
either I'm the Zuko or I'm the Azula. There's no
Exactly.
in between. I'm the favorite child or I'm the neglected child.
Spoilers for Zuko. He's also up here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they
Absolutely.
already know.
But yeah, it's really like you're in a terrible. Zuko and Azula, I feel like, are two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
You're in a terrible situation. You can either play along or you can solve it through hardship. And-
Azula's the Zuko that didn't get an Iroh.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, who's this character?
This is Bato.
Yeah, Bato.
Oh, this is Bato, huh?
Bato of the
Water.
Water Tribe. So
He's
Bato is cool.
He's cool.
He's a cool
Cool.
character. I mean, he doesn't get much screen time. Like, you don't, like, he only gets like maybe an episode or two of screen time. But I mean, the thing about him is like, he's not crazy. He doesn't do anything like super epic or anything like that. But I mean, when he's introduced, you get to learn a lot about Katara and Sokka's like background a little bit. You get to learn about like their youth and all that. So he's a steady character. He's not bad by any means, but he's just like he's not a big role. So he doesn't
Right.
make that big of an impact.
He has a role to play. He played it.
He's a character, and I would argue almost a filler episode. It gives it more world building, but like if your only appearance in the entire show is in season 1, you're probably filler, and he's only shown in season 1.
Are we thinking our first
Lacking?
I was gonna put him kind of mid,
Kind of mid.
just because I mean, like, I don't have any complaints about him specifically. I would say it's not like he's a bad guy. It's
Okay,
He
it's
did
just like
teach.
I don't have any complaints about any of these characters.
That's true.
To be honest with you.
I mean,
my
like,
argument
character
to
wise, like how they are like in the series, not like this
Okay,
character is
okay.
just boring. Like, I'm talking about like
Yeah.
the characteristics like within the TV show. Like, he's not. He doesn't do anything crazy, but he's not like a bad guy or anything like either.
I argue for kind of mid over Lacking because he taught Sokka how to sail. He gave
That's pretty
okay,
good. Yeah,
that is okay. Okay, I can
kind of mid.
I can argue that.
Cabbage Man,
Man.
goated above Azula, goated.
for the memes goated. The actual character,
I mean,
his only line is "Oh my cabbages."
In the context of just the show, not considering the meta of the character, I kind of just want to give him good enough.
Yeah,
He's a phenomenal character, and he has a special place in everybody's heart. And
Of
I know some
course.
people are gonna hate that, but what does he do besides scream "My cabbages"?
This place is worse than Omashu.
Yeah.
Those are his only 2 lines.
Yeah, he doesn't. maybe I'll even go a little further and say he's kind of lacking. I think he's a good character, but no development.
Yeah.
If we take away like the lure behind him and just like all of the just comedic effect that he brings, like he literally is like, you see him 3 times in the series, if that.
Yeah.
And it's just like my cabbage.
He was supposed to be once.
He's just there for like an instance of just a little bit of comedic relief.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like other than that, I mean, like you could literally remove him from the series and it would not change the series at all.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah.
I'd put him in lacking. As much as I love him.
Controversial, but
yeah. Okay, our first lacking.
Emotional damage.
Sorry, Cabbage Man. You are in our hearts.
I know. You stroking his face.
Stroke his cabbage too.
Yeah. Cabbage quality.
All right, Combustion Man.
Sparky Boom Man.
I really like this guy. I
Yeah.
think his backstory is really, really crazy. Like, and it gets, I mean, okay, we're not talking about Korra, like the Korra series yet, but it does get expanded in Korra, and man, is it kind of crazy? Like, we kind of get the gist while he's in the Last Airbender, but he's quite a interesting character.
He's a character that I wish we got more of.
I agree.
Yeah.
So me personally, he is I think he might actually be my favorite, I guess, what's the word, like subtype bender.
Okay.
Just because I mean, like, he has such a just like ominous presence to him. Like, you don't even hear him talk at all in the series.
Not a single word.
But here he is, like the first time when he attacks the gang and all that. You don't even know what's about to happen. You just see this crazy eye on him. Then out of nowhere, you just see this crazy just sonic boom. Like, it makes you sit up in your seat and you're like, what am I watching?
Yeah, that's not a power we're aware of.
Yeah, like it really makes you question, and it's broken too. Like that's not something just anybody can fight. Like that is a crazy skill.
And then it also opens up the questions about like the kind of experimentations the Fire Nation is doing to win this war.
Right.
Like, this is some super soldier that is just now some assassin, but
I think he adds a level of lore to the series that previously wasn't there and wasn't there at all after either. It was a side of the Fire Nation that we only saw through one character, was never talked about by the Fire Nation because it was so like they're experimenting on people. They're going hard. Like, they're trying to figure this out. And he's the product of that.
Yeah. He's a guy taking requests from the Prince of the Fire Nation and keeping the Prince of the Fire Nation secrets about the Avatar being alive. Yep. That's a big secret.
I think this character, despite having no dialogue, just existing, is great.
Yeah, I agree.
Is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like,
I want more, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. And he doesn't even need to be the one to give us more.
Yeah.
Like, they could tell us, like, they could have like a firebending scientist in like the third series that's like, oh, the Fire Nation was conducting experiments on firebenders through like
pyrotechnics.
Yeah, like pyropsychosis or whatever the hell, and we'd be like, oh my god, we'd be like the meme of Leonardo DiCaprio sitting up and pointing, like, we know him.
I know that.
Yeah,
Lord.
that was like hundreds of years ago at this point, but we know that. Yeah, so that'd be cool.
He's the guy that stole Appa in the desert.
Okay.
The son.
Hate this guy.
Yeah, boo.
He's one of the few characters that I genuinely hate. Like, he's just an arrogant teenager. That's
literally.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything in the series besides steal Appa. Lacking.
And then when he sees Aang go into the Avatar state because he's so angry, he immediately just becomes a submissive little crybaby.
Yeah.
A god is mad at me.
No balls. Yeah, lacking. Terrible.
Get out of here.
Gyazo.
Yes, Monkey Yatsu.
I think he's a great character. I wish we could know more about him. Like, the thing is, he's a lore character because I mean he's dead in the series, so like the only time you see him is in like flashbacks and stuff like that, which I mean is still good. You get to learn about Aang's background. You get to learn a lot about like a previous Avatar's background. Like, you get to learn a lot. But the thing is, he doesn't serve much purpose other than like lore.
I kind of agree. I think what he does for the world is good.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really, obviously he's Aang's master. That's a pretty important role to play. And he played it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that doesn't necessarily reflect. I mean, it does reflect in the series, but the series itself is not about Gyazo. He's already played his role before the series starts. And personally, I think that's good enough.
I'd put him above Bato, but I would definitely put him below Combustion Man. So
Yeah. All right.
Hakoda of the Water Tribe.
I'm so glad you know these names.
This is Sokka and Katara's dad.
Oh yeah. Okay. In the same vein, because I mean we get a good amount of him.
Yeah, we get to see him quite a bit.
More, yeah.
And he has a role to play, and he plays it.
He plays a pretty good, like, I guess just role, like, as far as being Sokka and Katara's father. You get to see, like, you finally get to see somebody have like a decent like bond with family. Because I mean, like, look at Aang, he doesn't really have that. Look at Toph, I mean, she had a bad relationship with her parents.
That's true.
So
an actual father figure.
You get to see, and I mean, like, also Katara and Sokka losing their mom, which is already another tragic thing. The fact that he's there and he does like provide, I guess, that just family love or family relationship.
That feeling of safety.
He does a good job of it. I'd put it, me personally, I'd put him either good enough or mid.
I say good enough. I think he's bigger, more than Gyatso, because I feel like he does
more than Gyatso.
Yeah, I feel like what Gyatso does for Aang, Hakoda does for Sokka and Katara, but he's alive.
He gets more screen time, so we do this.
Yeah, kinda.
He's a more written character.
Yeah.
These are okay. What I'm thinking is these are basically, they serve a similar role, but this character has more development.
Yeah, pretty much.
Agreed.
Okay.
And without him, we don't get the volcano, the boiling rock episodes.
True. Okay.
Hama.
Bloodbending.
Okay. Hama, personally, as a child watching that, I was horrified by that episode.
Scariest episode.
That episode, I'm not even gonna lie, when I was a little kid, I remember I'd be kind of like curl up and kind of like cringe a little bit when I was watching it.
There are scenes from that episode I can remember vividly in my brain. That's how, I mean, it was a good episode.
Oh, yeah.
It is a great episode.
There's a couple of really nice details in that episode too that I didn't catch till later.
There are a couple of nice details in the remainder of the series from this episode.
Yes.
Like, you can watch this episode and you can catch references to her bloodbending, and bloodbending techniques in general throughout the rest of the series and throughout the rest of Avatar lore.
She kind of starts the series. The boat that her water tribe, that when she was defending herself from the water tribe, is the boat that Aang and Katara hop on.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
To set off the trap to find Zuko. She kind of indirectly starts the show.
she was literally in the battle, like, when, because you hear that Katara is like the last waterbender in the southern tribe. The southern tribe.
Yeah.
Hama is like, she was there and she watched like all of the waterbenders get taken and she fought against it.
Yeah.
And she's also the only one, like, in all technicality, she was the only other one that was alive.
Yeah.
Too. But the thing is, like, she's such an interesting character because, like, she reminds me of like a reverse Zuko in a way. Like, she grows up pretty well, but then just all the torture and all that she goes through just turns her into just an evil person.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for her in a way, but in the same way, she is a terrifying character, and the bloodbending technique itself, like that is broken.
Yeah,
that's scary. It's so broken.
Horrifying.
Katara had to ban it in Korra.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So she actually is like one of the, like, a victim of war. Like,
literally.
She came out of a war twisted and diabolical, and she, through war, had developed a new waterbending technique to save herself.
Yeah.
You know?
Say it wasn't even just like out of her like desire to like gain power or anything. It was, she developed that out of just a pure survival instinct.
Yeah.
I think she's, if not goated, top of great.
I would put her in goated, honestly.
I would put her in between Aang and
you put Hama above Aang.
I don't know about that. I don't agree with that. I would like to say top of great because goated is going to get very full.
That's fair.
And we're going to see the difference between the rest of goated and some great, I think.
I'll agree for now.
Top of great is pretty good.
Top of great is good.
Above Appa is pretty good.
That's also true.
I don't know who this is.
That is Haru.
This is Haru. Yes.
With the mustache. This is season 3 Haru.
The first like earthbender that they like encounter and like meet and all that. And they had to help him liberate from the prison.
He's a good character. I'm going to go ahead and say he's kind of mid.
Oh,
Is this even a?
That's
is
not
this
a
even
question.
a question?
Nah. Put him up there.
Yeah,
Put him
the
up
Dragon
there.
of the West.
We don't even need to explain. Moving on.
Yeah, like this character is so. Oh my god, his motivation and his development, and even down to the voice actors that he had are
rest in peace,
so
Mako.
yeah, so heartwarming, and he's a great character. His presence is felt throughout the entire series, no matter who you're watching. Like no matter what group you're with, you can feel him. He's
Yeah.
on the wrong side of history, but he's on the right side of history.
Yeah.
like oh my god,
He
I don't
literally
even
helps flip history. So
Yes, he knows what he's doing and he's playing along. He has, fought in some wars on the wrong side, but he gets it. He knows what he's doing. He's playing 5-dimensional chess.
truly,
we don't even have to go into this. He's such a
Yeah.
great character.
yeah.
Zhang Zhang.
Zhang the Deserter.
So, me personally, I kind of like his character. So the thing about him is he's arrogant. I mean, he served in the Fire Nation Navy or Army or whatever it is for most of his life. But the thing is, he's not without his good intentions, but he kind of like acts out of a place of fear in a way. He's not like a heroic character. He kind of just does what he's like that person who just like, he's like, all right, I can't handle anybody, so I'm just going to go off on my own and do my own thing.
Yeah, he's kind of when I think of this character, I always think of like a wildfire. He understands that fire is untamable, and he this is the guy who teaches Aang, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the
when
first. Yeah.
Yeah, when he's teaching Aang, he kind of tells Aang, "Don't, be wise about this. If I can teach you, I can teach you firebending, but you have to learn how to control it. It's not something that's taught; it's something that's learned.
Yeah.
And some people can't learn that. I personally think bottom of great.
Bottom of great. All right.
Oh, okay.
My boy
Jet.
Jet. Katara's first crush before she knew she was in love with Aang.
I have some opinions about this guy that I can't articulate well, so I'm gonna let you guys talk first.
Okay. Well, Jet's the points towards Jet: charisma, good looks, Cowboy Bebop. Points against Jet: killing innocent people, manipulating teenagers, and making Sokka look bad.
Yeah. So as like a freedom fighter, I'm really conflicted because, yeah, I would like the freedom fighters to be a good group, but that's kind of the nuance of the Avatar series is you don't really know like
Good
Iroh,
guys and bad guys.
Yeah, like the Water Tribe is good. The Fire Nation is bad. The freedom fighters are good, air quotes. Like it's the duality that the series is trying to show you through the entire thing. Like there is no such thing as good or bad nations. There are only good or bad people.
Yeah.
And I think Jet is a lesson that they're trying to teach you in that. And
Absolutely.
So the big controversial thing about him is that like you understand like his motive a little bit because I mean like he lost his parents to the Fire Nation, but the thing is he acts out of like revenge. He doesn't act out of like
Yes.
good intentions.
he has a lot of flaws.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing in a series, but he has, I think, too many flaws in my eyes.
Now
He
does get a decent redemption, but the thing is like those flaws still like get him into trouble even when he's in his redemption. So it's like.
True.
Yeah.
So I'll phrase it like this. I think he's a good character. I think what he shows in the series is good, but I don't think it's anything unique. I think you could cut his character out and you would still get the same message from the series. Personally, I think he's good enough.
I agree with good enough.
I agree.
He's a good character. He's a well-written, nuanced character. Not too important to the series, in my eyes. Any dissenters?
I agree with that.
I agree.
Okay.
So Jin, there's literally not anything you can say about her. I'm honestly
I'll just do this.
Yeah.
say
She humanizes Zuko just enough for us to see his good side, but
okay, then actually you're right. Actually, this is kind of the beginning of Zuko's transformation. So I maybe kind of mid.
maybe kind of mid. She humanizes him a little bit, but she's literally in the show for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, lacking.
Top of lacking.
Yeah, top of lacking. There is no war in Ba Sing Se.
My name is Judy. Judy as a concept, I just love the conspiracy of bossing Say and just how creepy she is, how she follows everyone around, making sure that they're, doing what they're supposed to do and leading back to the Dai Li and making sure everything's going the way it's supposed to. There's no war. But besides being the owl or the hawk that's watching Team Avatar, she also doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wholeheartedly agree.
I honestly don't even really have much to comment
lacking,
about her.
maybe top of lacking, bottom of kind of mid, because she does play some.
I'd say put her in between Cabbage Man and
Yeah.
Okay.
Same
no,
brain.
okay. June. Love her.
She's such an
her.
interesting character.
I just love her.
I love the creativity of her pet, the Shirshu.
Yes.
A blind pet that can paralyze anything with its tongue, can smell from a continent away. It smells and colors, and is an animal that gets referenced in the Kyoshi books.
Oh, really?
Actually, yeah. Kyoshi uses the Shirshu to track somebody down. So
I'm just a simp, so I'm.
that's also fair.
I just
all the goth lovers
She's
out
goth
there.
to
I
me.
was gonna say we be talking about the goth. No.
goth mommies. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a simp,
So-
and she can paralyze me. Take me.
Take me.
Just paralyze me.
Just paralyze
Dude,
me.
Punch me as hard as you can.
Everybody say simp.
Simp. I do think she lacks a little bit in lore.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to put her top of good enough.
Okay.
I could do that.
Yeah.
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 Because I don't think
Above
she's
Hakoda.
Oh yeah. Do you think? Well,
I don't know.
I'd drop her one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd put her above Gyatso, but maybe not above
Okay.
Just
Hakoda.
because Sokka's dad or Katara and Sokka's dad get
That's
a little
true.
bit of character development where she
is kind of just
she
a
gets
villain.
she gets 2 episodes and she does the same thing in each
Yeah.
episode. So
All right,
Katara.
Katara.
I'm struggling between either goated or great. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
yeah,
I thought this was just going to be a goated for you.
that's what I thought.
I mean, yes. There's some there. I feel like Katara does. She doesn't have as much of an arc as people want her.
I strongly disagree.
Really?
Okay.
Because
yeah.
me personally, if I was to rate her, I would put her goated right below Aang. The thing about her is the whole concept of her character is she goes through the tragedy of losing her mom, and then the more that involved they get with fighting the Fire Nation, you can see the more she it begins to bother her, and then it's right before the finale episodes where she hunts down the man who killed her or who killed her mom, and she's one of the few characters that is actually able to hold the self-restraint and keep herself together. Also look at the desert, here when they're in the desert and everybody is just losing their mind trying to give up, she's the one that keeps them together.
She's the control center.
She's almost like the mom of the group in a way. I
True.
don't mean to phrase it like that, but she's
she's
a good support for the entire group. I think she's a good character. I'd put her in great.
I'd put her. I agree with all of that. My reason for maybe thinking great and not goated is that minus the her dealing with her mom trauma, she's that character from episode 1.
Yes.
She is the mom of the group because she's Sokka's mom washing his dirty socks, and she's Toph's mom taking care of, making sure that she's not, being the blind bandit.
That's my main critique about her character as well is, yes, she grows, she becomes a better fighter, she understands more, but we don't really see her character reflect that in the way that we see other characters do that. We watch Aang become more mature. We watch Sokka go from this goofy little kid to this hardened warrior that no bending, but is still putting up a fight past a certain point because he wants to be stronger. Katara, she's a strong fighter. I'm not gonna discount her for that. She goes from kind of being a middling waterbender to a strong fighter. I'm not discounting that.
She was a prodigy with no teacher, and then got a teacher and whooped his ass.
And then got 3 teachers.
And then
she learned from Hama. She learned from she learned from the Southern Water Tribe. She learned from the Northern Water Tribe. 4 teachers. She learned from the Swamp Benders.
Oh, she did learn from the Swamp Benders.
Yeah. So she was traveling the world and witnessing all of these different methods of waterbending. And to her credit, learned a lot of these. how to bend the water in plants, how to turn
Blood
water
bend.
into ice, how to control people.
Yep.
And she learns these things and these techniques and passes them down to a generation and regulates them. But her maturity doesn't change too much. We're still seeing her kind of have immature decision making towards the end of the series. Like she's, I mean, yes, she's the calm, collected one, but when she has outbursts, she's the whole gang is a little messed up at that when she loses it. I
think I still want to put her in goated.
I think she is a goated character, but the bottom. Yeah. Okay.
King
Boomy.
Boomy. I love him. I wish we got more Boomy.
I wish we got more Boomy.
Yeah. I understand why we didn't.
He is a little crazy. We get more of him in the comics. There's a fight between him and Toph in the comics.
Really?
And no one wins. They destroy their entire battlefield, and then something happens, and they have to wrap up the fight.
Okay, that's exactly how I would want it.
Honestly.
Boomy has a purpose. He serves it. He's kind of introduced a little last minute.
Well, he's the third episode, and then he's the last episode. Doesn't get brought back
until the finale.
Yeah. Or a little in the beginning of book 2 when they're looking for an Earthbender. Is it really
the third episode?
Yeah. Going to Alma. It's literally the first episode, I'll or maybe episode 4.
It's like 3 or 4.
But it's going to Almashu, and then because that's when they're like going through the shoots, and he has to guess his name through the trials.
So the thing about him is, the thing I really respect about him is that he's the face of patience.
Yes.
Like he's the one that told Aang like who he needs to look for in a teacher. He's like, I mean, not to mention he's the only person in the entire series, with the exception of Momo and Appa, who was there with him before he spent 100 years in ice.
True.
And like, I mean, also learning about how like when the Fire Nation raided Omashu and like took everybody prisoner, and how he didn't fight back because he knew it wasn't the right time to fight. And then he waited for the eclipse and then just took back his whole city, like that.
Sign of wisdom.
That kind of patience, like that is really admirable to me. So as a character, I already love him, but for that instance, like his level of patience and like how it kind of like portrays into like Toph's character, and how Aang like views like earthbending and all that. I think he has a lot more lore than people give him credit for.
True.
I'm thinking top of good enough or great.
I'm thinking
bottom of great.
I'd put him in between Zhang and Combustion Man.
Above
really?
Zhang. I would put him above Zhang.
Okay. Yeah, actually, yeah. The more I think about that, I kind of agree. I think he teaches Aang more. I think Zhang kind of leaves Aang too much to his own devices, and people get hurt because of that. So he's not a responsible teacher like Boomy kind of was. In a sense.
Zhang went, you hurt somebody, leave.
Yeah, in Boomy's teachings, there was never really anybody in danger. He was enveloping somebody in candy.
Yeah, true.
Lacking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He sucks in the comics too.
Okay.
Oh, Kyoshi.
If we're going strictly the show, the only thing she
give
does
us some lore. Tell us some lore.
Well, I'm in the books.
And keep in mind, we're already at like 30 minutes.
I know.
So give us some quick lore.
The quick lore is that Kyoshi, I would, because of the books, would put her in goated. She is absolutely amazing. She is the longest living avatar. She uses an earthbending technique that lets her live to be over 300 years.
Is that a good thing or is that a selfish thing?
It's both.
Given that she has at least like access to her previous like past lives and stuff like that, and like can stay humble about it, I'd say it's a good thing.
Her 300 years of being alive was pretty much 300 years of peace.
Okay.
Like when she was an avatar, like the biggest thing that she had after establishing herself was Zhang the Conqueror. But
Jin the Great or something.
Jin the Great, but it was Jin the Conqueror. She makes her own island by separate.
She does. That's badass.
She in the books is so strong. She can earthbend islands, but can't earthbend dust. She learns how to walk on air by this technique called dust stepping, where you take a thin layer of dirt and you walk on it.
What?
So she can walk on air. The fans come from her mother, who was a rogue airbender. Her mother was an airbender that left being that society to go live with the earthbending father to start Appa assassination gang. The face paint comes from her family's assassination gang, where they went around being the Flying Opera Company.
What?
But at night, they're killing like politics and making it so that the world is actually safe. The
Interesting.
fans come from her airbending mother. Her mother covered herself in dragon tattoos to cover up her airbending tattoos. So her mother's a badass. And she's gay.
Wow.
She's dating a firebender that's also like the commander's daughter or something.
Okay, if all that's true, I kind of agree with Goated, but in the context of Avatar, I don't know.
In the context
that's
of
just
Avatar,
too
like-
much extra lore, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it is the lore still, but I think
If we're talking about Avatar,
the series, I think
the
she's
series-
still great. I think we can
I'd
still
put-
take
yeah,
that
I'd put
into
her
account.
Into great.
Yeah. read the books. Read the Kyoshi books. They're amazing.
I'd put her lower on the end.
Really? Yeah. Above Boomy, at least.
Above Boomy. But yeah, maybe under Combustion, man.
Give me the... Who's this?
This is the head of the Dai Li.
Lao Fang.
Lao Fang. Yeah. That is a long shot. That
One
is
of the freedom fighters.
with his tongue cut out. Doesn't speak. May.
May.
Okay,
Yeah.
finally a real character. I'm actually going to put him up here because I think he's a pretty good character.
Yeah. Lots of nonverbal communication.
Yeah, maybe up here.
Yeah.
He definitely didn't belong down here.
I'd put Lao Fang a little higher. I'd put him above the Sandbender guy.
May.
I love her.
The other
I
goth
love her.
baddie.
Another goth baddie.
She gets a redemption arc right at the end. I mean, her attitude sucks the entire series.
But that's her whole thing.
I love an
That is her
emotional
whole
queen.
thing. I would say for a non-bender, she's pretty powerful. She's pretty skilled with like those hand darts or whatever
Yeah.
that she
Yeah.
uses. But I mean, we just don't see a whole lot of her like fighting.
My argument for her is that she is the lead into Azula's descent into madness.
Yes, and I really like that. I think she's great.
Yeah, she's a great for me, or at
I
least a
don't
good
think-
enough.
I'd put her at top of good enough.
Top of good enough. Okay.
I'll take that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she has a role. She helps Zuko. She does eventually learn that she's on the wrong side of history. Explosion Man. Rotten egg guy.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
put
he
him-
does invent air balloons.
Yeah. He's a smart dude.
The submarines, like all that. I'd kind of put him at the bottom of mid.
Kind of mid. I think I'd put him at the top of kind of mid.
I'm also thinking top of kind of mid. Him and Sokka have a pretty good relationship.
Right.
True. And he gives Aang his new glider for the.
That's also true. Yes, he did show him gliders or give him one. I personally want to put him above Jet.
Really?
Yeah, he does more
know-
for the gang and the story than
Honestly,
Jet does.
I could get with that.
Yeah,
I kind of could.
because
Okay.
this is also the reason why the Fire Nation has the
war
Zeppelins.
balloons. That's true.
He does a lot for the story on the good and the bad side.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Way more than Jet does.
True.
That's also true. Yeah. I'm sold.
And actually, maybe even more than these two.
Above Gyatso and June?
Above Bato? He does a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of things that
Maybe
happen because of
not.
him.
Maybe not
I
above
wouldn't-
Hakoda.
Yeah, I'd
but
put him right there.
Yeah.
That's a good
Hakoda.
spot
Yeah,
for
sorry, I
him.
called him Bato. Momo.
Momo. My heart says goated, but actually,
What does Momo do?
Saves Aang when he's falling off of the drill.
there's that one scene.
What he attacks Zhao when they're at the Spirit Oasis.
Oh, true.
Right before that. He is kind of a funny character. Like you get that a scene where Aang has like a conversation. It's like Nightmares and Daydreams where
Oh,
Aang
yes.
has a conversation.
No, but I said something.
I don't think he does enough.
Now that
To
you
be honest with you, with the amount of screen time that Momo gets, he's a phenomenal companion. But he has his moments. I'll give
Yeah.
him some moments, but he has a lot of screen time for doing nothing.
He's
He
there.
doesn't invent a war balloon. I'm gonna be real with you.
he does not.
He doesn't fly the entire... he does fly the entire series, but doesn't fly the gang around. He has a couple of, distraction moments, but he doesn't inherently win any fights. He doesn't develop as a character. But again, it's Momo.
Yeah.
Okay, if his purpose is to be the representation of Gyazo,
Oh my gosh.
I want to put him here.
right below Gyatso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because maybe here, because he does that. And that's good enough.
Yeah.
Like, he is kind of, in my eyes, he's symbolic of the spirit of the air nomads.
Yeah. He is the last remaining thing from that temple. So,
Yeah.
living thing from that temple.
And I think he's good enough.
Yeah.
But I don't think he really... I'm sorry, Momo fans. I don't really think he does anything.
I will say shout out to his music. I do love the Momo music.
Okay.
Fire Lord Ozai. Really interesting. Definitely a super powerful firebender. The thing is, there's nothing like creative about him. Like he's
really
he's just a bad.
He's just
the big bad.
He's the final boss, and all you know about him is that he's evil. Like there's the thing about like his like favoritism for Azula over Zuko, but like other than that, he's just a straightforward evil guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's your typical baddie.
And I was to say,
continues in the comics too.
Yeah.
Is that the reason why Zuko exists is because Zuko's mom was the descendant of Avatar Roku, and they wanted a powerful bender, and he doesn't like Zuko because he almost wasn't a bender when he was a kid.
I'm thinking good enough.
I'm thinking
good enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
he plays
his role. He does his thing, but like I am not in love with the character. I don't feel for the character. He doesn't develop as a character. He doesn't have a redemption arc. He doesn't.
He's just the
he
big
just
bad.
doesn't.
he's just an evil guy.
Yeah.
He's just the figurehead.
Paku, that's his name.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this guy is just going with the other elemental teachers and
TBH.
Personally below the firebender because he's doesn't
sexist.
even want to teach.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want to train Katara.
The only reason why he did is because Katara is the granddaughter of his crush, and he's trying to. that's
coincidence.
Not even that she was strong.
Not even through respect, but through you were.
I made this necklace.
Yeah, you're the descendant of my supposed wife. Yeah, no, I don't like this guy. No. Sokka's teacher. I don't remember
the
this
sword
guy's
master.
name.
What was his name?
It's another P.
Pian Dao.
Pian Dao. Yeah.
Yes, that sounds correct.
I thought he was really cool.
I
would
love
say
him.
if you look at the White Lotus, like you have your firebenders, waterbenders, and all that, he's the Sokka of the White Lotus.
Yeah.
Yes, he has a phenomenal representation for the White Lotus, and he teaches Sokka so much. The amount of development that Sokka gets
in that
one
episode.
episode from this guy is insane.
Yeah.
Like,
and he pushes him.
Yep.
Like, nobody really pushed Sokka the way that this guy did.
Yep.
He was like, you're going to fight for your life right now, and you're going to either come out alive or you're going to die.
Or you're going to get fucking stabbed.
Yep.
Yeah, personally, I think this is one of the greatest teachers in the entire series.
Yeah. I agree.
Above
Boomy.
Above Boomy for me. And he does not get a lot of screen time. He does what he needs to. He teaches, and this is single-handedly, like, I think the most development a character has in one episode.
Yeah.
Like, Sokka is so slept on, but this episode for Sokka is phenomenal. Sokka lovers are eating on this episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would say the thing about it is when they like liberate Ba Sing Se too, he goes in like with Iroh and Zhang Shan and all those guys just with his sword, and he's still just putting in work.
Yeah.
He's taking names.
I would say despite the fact that he's not a bender, he's still able to fight and work with the benders themselves, and I think that's just great. Pipsqueak.
Yeah.
Lacking. Yeah.
Less, yeah. Roku.
All right.
Roku.
Avatar Roku.
Very interesting character. I thought it was cool how he got a full episode to himself. But the biggest thing about him is that he was his own downfall, and I mean he's kind of the reason that the whole series exists.
Yeah.
Yes. He really fucked up.
That's the theme with avatars, is that every reincarnation of an avatar is just inheriting the previous avatar's problems.
Actually, while I'm thinking about this, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Because I don't think these are bad characters. Also, I want to flesh out kind of mid a little more.
That's fair.
I could respect that.
Okay. Personally, I'm thinking with Kyoshi, and maybe right under her.
Yeah. Above.
I'd put him below Pian Dao.
I was about to say, I think so too.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. This is a good character. This is also a good character.
Oh.
He just,
I'll say, and he does get quite a lot of screen time. Like you get to learn quite a lot about him. I mean, the problem is like his own like indecisiveness is what led to his downfall, and it's like that is such a crucial mistake, or such a big mistake for an Avatar, and it's just like, dude, you got to do better. You got to do better, man.
What's this guy's name? Hot Leaf?
Hot Leaf?
Sokka?
First of all, that's a chick, but and
Smellerbee.
Smellerbee. I was close.
It's like, well, that's an interesting name for a boy. Oh, that's funny because I'm not a boy. Oh, sorry.
Actually, that's more development than these two characters get. So, Sokka.
Goated.
Yeah, goated. Easy.
I'd put him up above Katara.
Yeah. I agree.
More growth.
Like we were talking about earlier, Sokka just gets so much more development. Like he is really.
He starts from a lower place.
Right. This is a dumbass that can't even wash his own underwear at the beginning of the series.
Literally.
And he is holding his own at the end.
Literally.
Like, there's so much
With the
symbolism.
Avatar.
Let's say he leads the battle. He comes up with the invasion plan.
He becomes this he's this dumbass idiot at the beginning of the series and becomes this grand strategist.
Yep.
Becomes the king of the water tribe. He's the chief after Hakoda passes.
Yeah,
So
a non-bender chief.
yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
Sozin.
Fire Lord Sozin.
Oh.
He's really interesting because like he starts off as a good guy but becomes evil, but not out of a sense of like revenge or anger, but just out of pure selfishness.
Power.
Like he wants power, and his idea of power is wiping out the air nomads and all that. So he's a really bad dictator.
He's just kind of. I think he's good enough.
Good enough. I almost want to put him in top of kind of mid.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, without him, there's no story, obviously. But like,
I don't know if I agree below these three, because he does more for the series than these three.
I guess. Yeah. I guess so. But
Maybe like here.
I can agree to that. Yeah.
Dissenters. What are you thinking, James? You look suspicious.
It feels a little high for me, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain him lower because. Yeah, he does do more than Momo, technically.
He's the other reason that the series exists.
Yeah.
Go ahead and put him there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him here.
Suki.
Wish we got more of her, but the thing is, similar to Sokka, non-bender. The thing about her is she acts out of like just pure heart. Like
Justice.
she finds Appa and realizes that okay, we have to do something. She even gets attacked by Azula, like completely outmatched, and is like, do whatever we got to do so that Appa can get away and go find Aang. Like, and then not to mention, I mean, she does come back. She plays a pretty good role in the final boss. I wish we got more of her.
Okay, so from my perspective, her group has always been what the freedom fighters should have been.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think she and her subordinates are phenomenal characters for that reason alone. She does what she feels is right. She does a lot for the series too. She teaches a lot for Sokka. Like in a similar vein of this guy, obviously Sokka didn't have the same amount of growth. Mm-hmm. Because Sokka has his own demons to fight. He's like, I'm not going to learn from a woman, which we see later, but Sokka has already learned this lesson.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of want to put her
I'm thinking
above May.
Good enough. I think she's a great. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. If we're
Looking
talking
at
about teachers, is there any dissent here?
Part of me wants her higher.
Really?
I think.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
My initial thought was in between Hama and Appa. I think she's badass.
Whoa.
But,
I don't know.
But I'm feeling maybe above Roku,
I was
but
gonna
below
say-
Pandao.
I was gonna say in between Boomy and Zhang.
Maybe that.
I
feel like
okay
she
with
does-
cutting the difference.
I was like, I feel like she does more than Boomy for the show, and I also just think she's a badass character. She basically breaks herself out of prison twice. Because there's one in the comics, and the only reason why her attempt at breaking out of prison in the comics didn't work is because someone snitched her out.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just lump this guy in with him.
Yeah.
This is father-son duo. I think they basically achieved the same thing in the series. Together they have the gliders. This dude's working off this dude's work, and together they do it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The boulder.
Fun
Dwayne
fact,
the Boulder Johnson.
Yep, I would say fun fact is he was originally supposed to be voiced by Dwayne Johnson,
I
but
love
couldn't
that.
make it. So they had what's his name, Mick Foley, voice him, which I
Hell
honestly
yeah.
think
Cast.
worked out great.
Hell yeah.
So-
As a character, he does have character growth. He goes from being a wrestler to fighting in the invasion.
He does, huh?
Yeah.
But
That's
outside
more
of
character
that,
growth than Jet.
Yeah, so I guess above Jet.
Oh my god, this feels wrong.
That
Really?
does.
I don't know. I mean, but he does.
He does.
He does
He
have
has
an
more
arc.
growth than these characters. Holy
Shout out to the
shit.
boulder.
You're right, though.
He does.
I
well.
don't want to drop him.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
Boulder.
You're right, though. Like, this feels weird. But, like, if that's our criteria for this, like, he has more character growth. He's arguably a better written character with that growth.
Yeah.
You know, like, these are well-written characters, but this
But-
character grows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pipsqueak.
Pipsqueak.
Nope, the Duke.
Yeah.
The
Toph.
The GOAT.
Single-handed most broken bender in the entire series.
There's even even Hama isn't this strong. Like, holy shit.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
She
Without
At 12.
I'll say without the Avatar state,
Self-taught.
Aang isn't even that strong.
yes, we witness her develop a new form of bending.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like how many other
Out of
series
spite.
Right.
You can't bend this.
we have
Bitch
only
bet.
seen one other bender do this, and it was another earthbender.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even in this series. I mean, it wasn't even in The Last Airbender. It was in,
in
Korra.
Korra.
Yeah.
with the
Don't say it, because we're talking about we only mentioned spoilers for
well, there's
but-
Toph is exposed to that in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to mention her style of earthbending is already one of a kind, just as its own. Like her earthbending, given that she's blind, is literally like a sixth sense for her. Like she has taste, she can smell like that. Her earthbending, her ability to see, is literally a whole new sense. Like it's an extension of her. It's not a physical thing. It's more of like an instinct thing.
I think in a similar vein, she has a different sort of growth. She's still like, when we meet her, she's still this troubled kid that, you know, has too much to do, but she has her own demons that she's fighting and
With, like-
kind of figures them out by the end of the series for the most part.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's never perfect, but I don't think I want that, you know?
No,
I don't want
yeah.
a perfect character. In fact,
I almost want to put her above Azula.
I kind of agree.
Yeah.
Put her,
She's
drop
a
her.
great character.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
a little brat. And she
But
never
she
loses
earns
that type
it.
of her personality. Yeah, but
That's-
she's a brat for a reason.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just a justifiable reason too.
Yeah. She knows how strong she is.
Her growth is literally, let's break some rules. I'm a cop,
Yeah. You can break the rules within reason.
but I made them.
Yeah, so respect them.
Tylee.
I want to put her next to May. I feel like she does the same thing that May does,
No,
but a little more.
absolutely not. She
No,
doesn't-
not next
she
to
is
me?
not going in good enough. She
oh,
is
okay.
the entire reason we have another fighting style in Korra.
Yeah.
Oh my
The chi
gosh, you're
blockers.
so
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Wow, you're right. No, I agree.
Yeah,
Easily-
I can't put her in good enough because
I-
she developed an entire fighting style.
In my opinion, I think she is the strongest non-bender in
I-
the series.
I agree.
Agreed.
The fact
Yeah.
that she can just take down a bunch of regular benders too, and then stop them from bending and like put them
Yeah.
on.
Well, it's
her
not even
level
like
too.
just taking the bending away. She incapacitates them.
Yes.
They are paralyzed.
Yeah, she created a hand-to-hand combat weapon for non-benders to fight benders. She is literally the great equalizer.
Yep. Not to mention,
Amon.
she also drops Azula when they're in the
Yes.
prison
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
That's why I was like, oh, they both do the same thing as they both lead to her descent. But no, you're right. Tylee does more by a
Yes.
lot.
Somewhere in great is where I would put her.
Where would
I wouldn't say she's goated.
I
put
think
her next to
she is
Suki?
goated.
Really?
I think she is goated for the lasting impact she has on the
Tylee
series.
over Hama. Oh
Yes. Yes. Because if you think about her fighting style, and if you think about bending in a form of a fighting style, if we're comparing fighting styles, this beats Hama.
It does.
This is a stronger, more advanced
if she
method
can
than
get to
Hama.
Hama. If she can get to Hama.
That's okay.
Because
okay, yeah. If we're power scaling, She does have to get there
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
She does have to get to close combat.
Because Aang had to stop what's his name by taking away his bending.
That's true. That is true. Which is something that Ty Lee can do.
Well, temporarily. You know, I'm not gonna be mad at a goated Ty Lee. I'm really not.
The thing is, I would
But you're
also,
right.
I would also
But-
want, if that was the case, then I would almost want Hama moved to goaded.
I kind of want
Okay, you're right. Okay. To not oversaturate goated, I think Hydeia is correct here. Blood bending is a little stronger than removing bending on a technicality. But holy shit, did she do a lot?
Yeah.
Like, did
No, I
she
agree.
show off a lot of a strong fighting style?
True.
Okay, the mom, the firebending mom.
She does a lot for Zuko's growth, but she doesn't actually do anything.
really
and she doesn't really
doesn't
do
do
anything in
much.
the comics either, so.
I think she's good enough. In fact, I think she's above.
Really?
Yes. She is
terms
the
of-
main reason Zuko becomes a good guy.
And Azula goes insane.
In fact, she's one of the teachers for Zuko.
True.
I'm okay with good enough
Put her
because
at
she
top
doesn't.
of good enough.
Yeah,
Top of good enough.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too because she doesn't directly tell Zuko you need to do this. She kind of pushes him in the right direction as a kid.
Yeah.
and
Remember
plants the seed for further growth.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, yeah, she has a role. She fills it. Fine.
Respect.
She's still with the teachers technically.
Technically.
The owl.
This is Wang Shitong. He who
Wang
knows 10,000
Shitong.
things.
That's not enough. That's not too many. That's not enough
That's
things.
really not a lot.
It's really not, but that's what his name is.
Is this our first introduction to a spirit animal?
A spirit in the real world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he goes back to the spirit world. So, yeah, he's a cool character design, but I don't really know.
I think he's good enough, but I also think he does have character growth after his temple
Yeah, I
sinks.
guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
his character growth is a negative one. You guys keep taking my knowledge. Never mind, I take it back.
And maybe that's a good thing.
Let's say you do feel for him a little bit. Like I
I
could
respect
genuinely
it.
understand his intentions.
Yes, I understand where he's coming from. He
Yeah.
came to the real world with the intention of being nice and sharing knowledge with humans and benders, and said, "You know what?
Y'all suck.
You guys are bad at this. Forget this," and leaves. And
Yeah.
I can't blame him for that decision.
Especially when he got lied to by the Avatar. It's
Yeah.
like, you're the bridge. I've trusted you, and you lied to me too.
And on some level, I think he knew that the Avatar lied to him.
Oh yeah, he was like, okay, be slick. I
And
know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think he gave him entrance to the temple on authority alone. I think he said, knowing what we know about the Avatar, I think he probably went, "You're the Avatar.
Yeah.
I'll let this one slide, but you humans have been pushing it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Avatar pushed it.
Yeah.
And that's one of, I think, Aang's biggest mistakes. Because
Yeah.
throughout the series, I think this is one of Aang's turning points as well, because he's talking about being the bridge between the spirit world, and he's, at this point in the series, he's actively severing the bridge with
with the spirit.
with the spirit, yeah. And even with the, what was the panda spirit?
Hey bye.
Heibai. Even with Heibai, I mean, Heibai, he's not diplomatic about it. He kind of just is like, "You need to go."
Yeah. Hey, chill out. The
Yeah.
forest is gonna come back. I promise.
This is kind of one of his experiences where I do need to be diplomatic with the spirits and not just be like, "You can't harm these humans, leave."
Yeah.
Because that's not respectful to spirits.
To the spirits.
The spirits are clearly upset about something. That was a solution, but it wasn't the solution.
Yeah.
And he's learning.
Where are you feeling?
Maybe
Someone
here?
good enough? Yes.
Maybe here?
Drop
Maybe.
it, yep, there.
Yeah.
That's what I'd put
Yeah.
on.
Okay. What's this guy's name?
Jin Fu.
Ah,
Oh, this is the Jin Fool.
yeah. This is the. He has less growth than the boulder, so kind of mid. I agree.
Yeah, I feel like less growth than the Freedom Fighters. Even
Yeah.
like at the end, like when they're kind of realizing that Jet
Is a problem.
is a problem. Yeah.
The Freedom Fighters get better in the comics too. So
Yeah.
Yue,
The moon.
the moon.
That's rough, buddy.
That is.
That's rough, buddy.
I think she has pretty solid development. And
Yeah.
I think she starts from a pretty high place
And the fact that she also sacrifices herself
Yes.
in the name of the spirit too.
Yeah, she starts from a pretty high place. She's a lesson for Sokka.
Yeah,
In a way, she is one of Sokka's teachers. But
about life.
Yeah, a life teacher, but kind of a simple character. She's a temporary love interest. She makes sacrifices, and I respect that enough to put her up here
In the greats?
in the greats, I think.
Okay.
Any objections, or what are we thinking? I think
My initial thought was in between Hakoda and the dad and Good Enough. But because I'm looking at who's above her, would you put
her
feel
above the Fire Lord?
I don't think I would put her above the Fire Lord.
okay.
Is why I don't know if great is enough for me.
What about here?
Yeah.
I could
Because
live
I
with
think
that.
I
yeah.
think these
Yeah.
kind of serve a similar purpose for different characters.
Yeah, I agree.
Actually, because she makes the sacrifice. There's a point where May's like, "You need to do what you need to do, but I have to go do my thing too."
Yeah.
And
It
if it's
takes
not
the
in
war
stars right
ending.
now-
It takes the war ending for May to realize that Zuko was on the right side. Because she
Yeah.
broke up with him and was still mad at him, and then
Yeah.
he won and was like, "Oh, okay, maybe
Yeah,
he did do something."
she didn't make as many sacrifices.
True. I mean, she did stand up to Azula,
She,
but
kind of yeah, she did have the realization and the growth, but a little late.
oh,
I don't even know this dude's name.
He's the other. Yeah,
I know
don't
who
even
he
his
is.
name
I don't
either.
even know his name.
He's the other dude that got locked in the box after Toph invented metal building.
Below Jinfu.
Jinfu. Yeah.
Well, in that sense, this is a Toph teacher.
Nah. Oh my gosh. Well, technically,
And then Toph taught
he
him.
was the one that taught her the basics, quote unquote, according to her parents. But no,
I don't believe that.
No.
But he definitely did more than these two characters, I think.
Yeah,
Disagree.
Really?
I'd
Really?
drop him below Bato. I'd put him
Like
in
here?
between.
below
I'm
Yeah.
okay with
Bato.
that.
Okay.
Zhao.
General
Zhao?
The season 1 villain.
Holy crap. Zhao is crazy,
Zhao is
actually.
crazy.
Knowing Korra,
Zhao is crazy.
Zhao
No,
is crazy.
And-
Really, really well written.
Yeah.
I have to give him credit here.
I was
Like,
Yeah.
like, he's also like he's like a third villain in a way because
Yeah.
like you have or like he's almost like a third like I guess arc. So you have the gang, you have Zuko, and then you have Zhao. All three of them are at war with each other.
Yeah.
So it's
True.
like
Without Zhao, we don't have a blue spirit. Without Zhao, we don't have Wang Shitong's angst against humans because he's the reason why the Fire
Yep.
Nation section of the library got burnt.
without him, Yue is still alive.
Without we have a moon and we have a UA
Yep. And Sokka has a girlfriend.
and Shaka.
So therefore we
Suki's
don't
jealous.
have a Suki. So Suki's gone.
I kind of want to put him bottom of great. He has
Bottom
a
of
lot of
great.
roles that he plays, and he plays them. He's not.
I put Zhao over Paku. I put Zhao
I'd
over
put him over
Jinjin,
I'd put him over Zhang Zhang.
Zhang Zhang.
Yeah.
Not over Boomy.
I wouldn't put him over Boomy, no.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. In
Yeah.
a sense, he's kind of like an anti-teacher.
Yeah.
He's not directly teaching people how to do things, but he is influencing the gang toward the right decision through his nefarious actions.
And the gang, including Zuko, without Zhao, there's no blue spirit.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's a whole nother thing.
He makes some big missteps, but the gang fixes them.
Yeah.
All right, last but
Yes,
not
your
least.
boy.
Our boy.
So it's not even a question of what tier, it's a question of where in the tier.
I know. I agree.
I'm not even gonna lie. I would put him at the very top.
At the very,
I
very
would
top?
Put him above Iroh, with Iroh being a second. But like, I mean, this guy has by far the biggest character growth out of anybody in the entire series.
I agree. Okay. I agree. He has a lot of character growth. This is a phenomenally written character. Zuko is a masterclass in character writing.
Mm.
But Iroh
Without
is a life. Iroh, like Zuko, has experiences. He is a life. He learns. He is taught.
I
But
feel like
Iroh exists, and he meditates, and he's not given answers. He's
I feel like he lived the answers and is trying to give them to Zuko.
Yes, Iroh has had however, like Zuko has had a very, very rough life. But imagine being somebody that is knowing that they're fighting on the wrong side, but also knowing that this is strategically the best place that you can be, and you have to do bad to do good.
The thing is that there is a point in Iroh's life where he's not the good guy genuinely.
Yes.
Like he
has a longer road to travel. A much more developed road that we're only seeing the end of. And the end is phenomenal. Like he nails that ending.
I feel like the Zuko that we get is where Iroh walked so that Zuko could run.
Yeah.
And Zuko is leading the world into an entire new era. He has to rebuild the Fire Nation back up. And he starts from a place of, nobody in my family likes me but my mom, and my mom was kidnapped to be my mother. I thought she was fucking dead for the longest time. And then it switches from the only person that cares about me, instead of being my mom who's now dead, is who I think is dead, is my uncle who's now taking care of me, but I'm an asshole to him the entire time until he leaves me because I betrayed him.
Above or below Iroh?
How many votes for above?
Avatar Zuko, strictly Avatar Zuko, below Iroh.
That's kind of what I'm feeling.
If we included everything, including comics, Korra, and the potential of what these new future movies and stuff are going to bring, above. But I'm okay with below Iroh.
That is such a tough decision.
I'll say, I think Iroh is a more emotional story for me. I feel like...
True.
Maybe I don't think I'm speaking for myself when I say this, but I think Iroh as a character, maybe being a little meta here to influence a tiebreaker, being a little... His voice actor, there's so much to his voice actor.
Yeah.
And both of them, like, they both did a phenomenal job. And
well, they've worked together, like in other shows where Mako, the voice actor for Iroh, has been Dante Bosco's father.
You can name anything about Iroh, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. You can name a lot about Zuko, and it's great. But it's not everything.
It's not the same. That's fair.
You see what I mean? If the tiebreaker is... If we're saying in universe, considering all lore, they're about equal, and we're going to be... I think if the tiebreaker has to be a little meta, I just have so much more out of context connections with Iroh than I do Zuko.
Part of me is thinking the most growth that Zuko had was when he was able to sit and stew with all of the Iroh stuff away from Iroh. When one of the best episodes of all time, Zuko Alone, is when he's sitting there stewing the lessons that Iroh taught him. All of season 3 is him stewing with the lessons that Iroh taught him. And those are the biggest parts of his character growth. When he's with Iroh, he's ignoring everything he says until he sits there and is actually a better person.
So what are we thinking?
I can settle for having him second.
For now. We're going to do another one when the shows come out and the movie comes out.
Yeah, these are essentially tied.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the definitive Avatar tier list. Leave your critiques in the comments because this is definitive and we won't be reading them.
I don't care. I'm the biggest Avatar fan in the world, so if you think I'm wrong, you're wrong.
Yep. Let us know your dissents, your personal opinions, and we'll see you next time.
Deuces.
Yeah.
Bye.